Greetings. Welcome to Podcastville. It's the church of what's happening now. Bam! What were you thinking? Get it on. Tremendous jam. Look up when that year this song came out.
Absolutely.
This song, everybody thought this came out in Pulp Fiction in 94, 95.
Yeah, released 1973.
Yeah. Welcome. Hope you had a great weekend. I know Lee was in Viva Las Vegas with his wife walking around, holding hands, sweating to death.
Oh, I had shorts. No, it was terrible. I was thinking about it, and I asked some Lyft drivers, actually. There's people selling those bottles of water on the strip for I thought it was $1. I didn't even look at the sign. Some guy said he's seen it for $5.
But I just knew I didn't want to be there. Like when I went to Sarasota, when I robbed that jewelry store, when I went to Sarasota for those 5 weeks, I've always told you that once you realize something, you're done. You know, once I realize I could do 20 push-ups, I'm going to go for 40 push-ups. It's just natural. Unless you got no heartbeat. Unless you say, okay, I'm done with 20. And I'll do 20 every day. Sometimes you go, you know what, next week I'm going to do 25. It's really weird when you surprise yourself. You don't know your abilities.
Mm-hmm.
When you have no idea about your abilities and your abilities shine, Jesus Christ, it's like a light bulb goes off in your head, you know? So when I landed there, I thought I wanted it.
Is weed one of the harder ones to do in prison because they could smell it smoking? Like, is that the issue?
It's a nightmare to smoke weed in prison.
Ah.
Because you have to get toilet paper, and you have to put deodorant stick on it.
Okay.
You have to put a bunch of that, and then you have to light that on fire. And then you have to roll up the joint, you know, and smoke it. Remember, in prison, you get weed. It's 3 joints of mediocre weed for $50. So for me to give it to you, your wife or mom has to put money on my books. And once I receive that 50, I give you a matchbook. It's called a matchbook, and that's exactly what it is. You know those book of matches that slide?
Right. Oh, okay, long ones.
They fill that up. They fill the tiniest one they could get with weed.
I thought you were gonna say it was like one of those little foldable ones.
And you get 3 joints, pin joints. They're gonna smell it. They're gonna lock everything down.
Yeah, that's a disaster.
So it's too much drama. It's too much. It's not worth the aggravation. When I found out I could get weed, by the time I found out, it was too late already. I was already getting over what I thought would be
the issue.
A really, really bad situation.
Right.
Like I smoked weed 20 minutes before court because I knew, just in case.
Jesus, and you didn't think they'd look at your eyeballs or anything?
Nah, I put Visine in my eyeballs, but when I got sentenced, that was my biggest fear. So I remember going into that sports betting service on a Saturday with 2 tissues in my nose, from my nose leaking. And I had stopped snorting at 4, but I would have to be in there at 7 on a Saturday and Sunday. And I had it in my mind, ladies and gentlemen, that the nights that I snorted before I went in there, I would sell more. That's how crazy drugs are. Like, it talked me into that. That's it. I'm not going to get high on Wednesday. I would get high on Tuesday.
Okay.
And then Friday. Tuesday, because I always had Wednesday off. So even if I snorted till 5, I could sleep till 11, take a shower, have lunch, and make it to my 2 o'clock. And then Fridays, I would always snort because I knew Saturdays were a big day in football, and I didn't want to be conscious. So I would go in there awake, but I hadn't slept the night before. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I mean, I do.
Now, I'm not saying John did this.
Right.
I'm not saying any of these things. I mean, he did say he did coke the night before he beat him up or he partied. But like they said, all that crazy is what makes him who he is, and that's what most people never understand. I go back to the first 10 episodes of the church. Know the animal you're dealing with. Know the animal you're dealing with. You know, when you see people, like I know there's a lot of people who fake the funk, but there's a lot of people who really live this lifestyle.
What lifestyle?
The lifestyle of 24/7. I'm going to train like an animal, but I'm going to snort like an animal too. I'm the world champion. Why can't I? Cross the bear. We all have skeletons. We all have something that makes us feel like we're not like everybody else. You know, if there's a real problem, You go talk to somebody. If you think you could tame it and play like a box 4 defense, you're a sexual deviant. If you like hookers, if you like cocaine. And it wasn't even the drugs. It was my heart beating to get into drugs. It was that action. It was that last thing I had that I held on to the past. I loved it. I loved my heart beating that way. I loved having complications. I loved Lee calling my house, asking me for the $300 I owed him. And I didn't have the money. I loved all that stuff.
You fucked her at the pool?
No, dog. I got manners. I'm a Catholic. I took it.
But it's like I was thinking about it. Like my brain just feels tired when I'm really depressed. Like it's just like I'm not sad. It's not like I'm sitting home crying. But it's just like the thoughts don't stop. It's crazy. It's sometimes it's all day, every day.
Does the marijuana slow it down or does it fuel it?
It's different. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's really great. Sometimes I giggle and I have fun. The issue sometimes is if I'm not doing something, sometimes it'll creep in. Like if I get really stoned and I'm just kind of zoning out, then it'll creep in and sometimes it can go down a bad path. But it's not terrible. Like it's not to the point where I would stick. Like I like weed more than it affects my depression, I think.
Now, if you have depression, you've completely fooled me. Not that I'm a PhD. I don't know nothing about nothing, but you've completely fooled me. In the beginning, when we first started hanging out, I sensed something, but I sensed more shyness. You weren't comfortable yet in your own skin around me until I started smoking with you. Let's do this, and you felt at home for a while.
No, I've
then in New York, you were tremendous, phenomenal in New York. Even when we got lost, I gotta admit it to you. But once you had Paula, once you first met Paula, you fell in love, and you gained a lot. You both gained a lot of weight together.
Yeah.
But whenever I saw you, you were very happy. You weren't alone anymore. I've known since day one, because you told me that you've had some social insecurities. Our bond is that I have social insecurities. For years, I've had social insecurities. I still remember a specific Sunday when I was involved in going out with my friends and going to the Mai Kai. There was a specific Sunday I was at a bar. Corky's, Gregory's 7-day weekend. And I'll never forget that I looked at these guys. I'm 21, I'm 22. And I'm looking at these guys, and some of them are 30, some of them are 32, some of them are my age, some of them are 5 years older. But for the most part, these guys were between 30s and 40s. And I remember looking at these guys and thinking to myself, you know what, man? I gotta end this. Like, I don't even enjoy this.
The party?
Like this being at a bar. Like, I don't even... And I was 21, 22 tops. Tops! And I already knew that this was not my thing. For me to be there, I had to be drunk.
Right,
and
yeah.
Coked up to the gills. So, right there, like, I don't even know how I ended up a stand-up comic. Because from my mother's bar, from that time I spent in bars... I couldn't wait to get out of bars unless it had a tremendous, like, clam chowder or a cheese steak. Every radio guy I talked to started where you are right now. Like, this is, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, out of college, this is what they got. They were interns for this guy. I mean, you heard Greg Garcia sat here 3 episodes ago.
Right.
And spoke about his thing and how what you're doing right now, whether you stick with it or not, believe it or not, you're going to learn from this experience.
Oh,
when you're 48 and you're running a corporation, you're still going to use the principles you learned that we've discussed on this show because you saw them work.
Yeah.
You saw them work. We're not doing nothing. Listen, I never told nobody that you and I are the most intelligent things in the world. We can't talk to nobody about real. One thing people know at home is where our heart is. And when you know where your heart is, like I've always told you, if I was doing blow, this podcast wouldn't have lasted more than a year.
How you like me now?
How you like me now, Lisa? Yeah. That's why I do it. I do it because I can't stop now. I got too many eyes on me. Plus, I love it. Plus, I can feel myself getting better. I'm getting sharper. I'm getting better on stage because an art is an art. Whenever you work on art from any direction, There was a great comic out here once. He's still great. He does colleges now, and I think local clubs in Atlanta because he's raising his daughter. Corey Miller. Corey Miller had a distinctive style of writing. On Monday, he wrote comedy. On Tuesday, he wrote poetry. On Wednesday, he wrote a TV show. On Thursday, he wrote a movie. And on Friday, he wrote comedy. So every day, the genres would always open. He had every channel open when he wrote. I couldn't believe he would do that. I go, why would you write a movie? It didn't matter. You're writing. You're attacking. You're making your mind move. And sometimes I think, and Lee, again, you had me fooled. But one of my things, Lee, has always been that idle hands is the devil's workshop, Lee.
Yeah.
I say it to myself. I said it to myself from the dog when I was 19. Every time I thought about robbing somebody, it was because I was sitting down, not working.
Really?
Yeah. I never thought of robbing somebody when I was loading trucks, making $18 an hour.
So then why do you quit the jobs then?
Because I thought of robbing somebody.
During a break or something?
Yeah. What happens to you?
Yeah, because you go down a spiral.
It's a nervous breakdown you have by yourself. God forbid you smoke marijuana.
Yeah, and it's...
God forbid you smoke marijuana.
It's weird. Like, you were talking earlier, like, how, like, all this stuff is going great for you, and that's part of, like... I say that, like that's part of it. It's like, why aren't you happier? Why aren't you happy?
Me?
No. Like, that's what I say to myself. Like,
I'm the same thing.
So, like, that's...
Why am I not happy? Lee, I sit here and I go, I'm going to... Last week, that had to be like Tuesday. There was a part of the day where I was in that office, and sometimes when I start feeling that way, I shoot out in front of the sun in my backyard. And I force myself to sit in the chair outside in front of the sun. I take a joint out there with me. I take a pipe out there with me. Sometimes I just take a thing of water, and I sit out there, and I absorb some of that vitamin D, and whatever thoughts I'm having goes away. Till today, when I don't see a window in a room, I freak out.
Why? Because
there's no out for me.
The door?
Listen, I gotta go to the heart doctor on Thursday. I've been canceling on this guy for 2 years. You know why? Number one, it's on the 18th floor, and the window's the size of a prison vent. And every time you go in there, he makes me do this test where they shoot ink in me, and then they put me through a scanner and see where the leaks are in my heart. Let me tell you something. That ink makes me go bananas. It makes my heart beat to death. They gotta come in there and give me Xanax. It's 2 hours of hell for me.
Jesus Christ.
I get there at 7, and I walk out at 11. The first time I went in there, I was about 400 pounds. And Lee, you have no idea what anxiety is. I didn't know what I was getting involved in.
Right, me either, yeah.
Okay, I went down there, and he said, tomorrow, you're doing this, this, and this, and then you're going to do not a stress test, but this thing with your heart. And he goes, bring a sandwich, and bring us whatever you want to drink, and bring an apple, bring food. All right. You're gonna need all the excuses, that can come into my head, shoot into my head. It's the weirdest thing.
Right, yeah, that was amazing.
I mean, I could wake up fine. I could wake up and go for a mile run. All of a sudden, 2 hours after I wake up, I can't walk. That's how my mind is. And now I just get water, I get my protein drink, I go to the back, I put on my shorts, I put on my gi pants. You gotta conquer your fears in this life, man. If there's 10 things you're scared of, and you conquer 6 of those things, you know what, man? We did okay. We did okay. Go talk to It's August 1st, let's face it. Humidity is everywhere. You know what humidity means? The next time you go on a date, your ass is going to smell like a dead frog by 11 o'clock. You don't need that aggravation in your life. You always want to be refreshed. You want your helmet to be clean. Females, you know I love you. You always need that monkey to get a little water. There's nothing wrong with that monkey getting a little water spit at. And that's exactly what I'm going to promote to you and tell you right now with HelloTushy.com. You're sitting there going, Joey, you're speaking about cleaning monkeys. What are you talking about? I'm talking about a portable bidet that fits right in your toilet and is easy to install. How easy is it, Lee?
Less than 15 minutes.
Boom. Tip-top magoo.
You could bring it on the road if you really wanted to.
That's how, listen, By the time
It's
you
portable.
get one, it's portable. You are going to bring it on the road because you don't know what life is about till you sit in that little thing and that little thing spits water in your little muffler and you're sitting there in trance. Have a great day. Stay black. Kick that mule, Lee. Little Tom Tom Club. It's Monday. It's a beautiful day to be alive. Just when you thought it was safe, the church of what's happening now. Uncle Joey here. Nothing happens until you make it happen. Motion creates motion. Once you stop moving, the debris stops. Somebody famous once told me that. Once you stop moving, the debris stops. So by you moving, you generate action. You know, I was telling these guys that I used to work at a place that sold screws and nails on the phone. Guys, I had to be there. I had to be tip-top Magoo at 4 a.m. because 4 a.m. was 7 a.m. on the East Coast.
And the people who need screws
when the contractors are coming into their office. So they wanted you to call them. In those days, I used to get every Lee. When I tell you when I tell you something every day.
Right.
That I went in there Monday through Friday. I faxed 10 different bookers. Whether they knew me or didn't know me, I had done maybe the pilot and I had done maybe basketball.
So that's
my stand-up was mediocre, but I knew to get better I had to go on the road.
Because that's that must be a weird part of stand-up because you can't really fax. You can fax and tell them what credits you have.
No, I would say, how you doing? My name is Joey Diaz. I've been in basketball. I shot a pilot for CBS named Bronx County, and I've been a regular at the Comedy Store for the last 4 years. I'm looking for feature work, and I would put the calendar of April, May, and June. Let's say I was pitching those 3 months,
right?
And I would put imaginary dates on there, but not really.
And when do you collect this money? Every week?
The guys, for them to keep calling, they collect every payday is like Friday. For some people, it's Thursdays. Thursdays is a big booking day, to be honest with you. To be honest with you, I don't remember what day was their collection day. But nationally, usually, if you're working with a good book, it's Thursday. Because they want to catch you. You lost Monday Night Football. The week ends on Monday.
Okay.
So the week goes Monday through Monday. Or Tuesday through Monday.
And they won't let you bet again until you pay up?
So the week starts Thursday. You got to pay on Thursday. You want to play Thursday Night Football, you got to pay on Thursday. So I think it's still the same. I may be wrong. I don't know. The last couple of bets I put in Las Vegas. But the point of the story was I had this job. And I loved it, Lee. I loved it with all my heart. I loved it coming out of there at 3 o'clock and just breathing New York City air. That's the story I tell people. That's the reason why one Monday, I was going over there for like 5 weeks at this time. It was like towards the end of February. And I get there, and when I get there, they go, "Dog, we're closing up today." When I get there is when I find out they closed up. I got money in my pocket to get me back. I had like $30. And I had a plan to buy weed anyway. So I went to the spot that I usually go to buy weed. Boom. And they also had, in those days, they had angel dust. And they would sell you angel dust for $3.
How much angel dust?
If I took a joint and made the skinniest joint you ever seen, that's what it was.
Is that enough to get high?
Oh, that would put you in Zomboville. But you wouldn't put it in a joint. You wouldn't roll it in a joint by itself. You'd sprinkle it in a joint of the weed they just sold you. So you put a tray, as they called it, into one of the joints that you bought. Like gnawing it like a dog. You will sell the car. But most importantly, you'll get them in here. So it's a percentage game. If you get 10 sales calls, if you call in, okay. If you call in and go, "Hi, this is Lee Syatt. I'm looking for," it says in the paper, you have a 2017 Toyota Corolla Demo Edition with, what color is that car? I can't even tell you the color.
Okay.
I don't know right now. What I could do is take your number and call you back on the lot and call you back. I do know one thing. Hold on 1 second. Hey, Larry, what's that car like? What color? Purple, and it's beautiful. It just can't, they just fit. Okay, and the guy hears that lightly. I cover the phone, but not really. He knows exactly what to say because we do this every day. Then he gets on the phone. He goes, all right, listen. It's ready to go. It's beautiful. And the guy goes, what type of mileage does it have? Average miles.
That's not a number.
Yeah.
So
it's 2017. Average miles. What's the average mileage an American puts on a car a year? 15,000 miles. It's a 2017. Anyway, listen, the miles doesn't really matter. The car's beautiful and it's ready to go. Lee, what's your last name and what time can you get down here? No, I want the exact mileage. I want to know the color.
Oh.
I want to know if it has the sports package. I can't tell you that. Lee, listen, it's got everything. Do me a favor. Grab a number. Let me give you the address. What time can you come down here? Where are you calling from? I mean, it just hit you with points, Lee. And so you would be lazy. Now, number one, they taped every conversation.
Were they listening right then?
Yes. No. They would come and you would send the tapes daily.
Okay.
So I'll never forget this. Mary was her name. Mary would go, sales call line 2. And you would have to pick up the phone and go, Mary, Joe Diaz, phone number 2. Phone number 2 was the phone by the window. Guess what I did? I went over and disconnected the tape recorder. So they knew something was up. They were like, somebody disconnected both tape recorders. Hilarious. I did that like 2 weeks in a row. The guy got pissed. At the meetings, because he would come in every Wednesday from California and have a sales meeting at 9 o'clock and talk about the progress on the phone. The guy was phenomenal. Thinking about it now in hindsight. And he would say, Lee Syatt, last week you took 11 sales calls and you sold no cars. Why do you think that was? And you go, I don't know. The guy, and he'd play your sales pitches. It's Monday. Take the stick out of your ass. It's life. LSD. Let me get some shout outs here. It's clean, Bobby.
Who's Bobby?
Bobby, like, Tom Segura. We've been on planes. Because Tom Segura and his wife, don't their podcast, aren't they surrounded by farting on planes? And
Yeah, that's pretty much a par for the course.
A par for the course. So,
yeah.
You know, I mean, if I get together...
they call it brown talk.
If I get together with Tom, he'll talk to me about certain situations, and he'll ask me if I saw a certain something. Tom is a great guy to be around because he kind of laughs at my humor. You know, he gets it. He doesn't mind that I'm dirty. It's really funny, like Gabriel Iglesias. Gabriel Iglesias is a fun dude that really perfects his act and being clean and whatnot. If I'm with Gabriel at a club and we're just talking, and before I go on stage, he'll come over to me and go, dog, do that joke about pulling the tampon out or something. Felipe, it's really weird. The comics that don't do it, like I admire a witty comic.
Yeah, because it's not the way you do.
I feel that they do a lot more work than I do. No, if I was a witty comic, I know I was leaving. I know you were leaving, and you were really thinking about what I spoke about. Like that's how I think about it, to be honest with you. So that's why I like Seinfeld. I always like Seinfeld. I paid to see Jerry Seinfeld. The tickets are $1.25 now. I think I paid like $28. I got a good deal back then. So that's why that conversation arose on the Rogan podcast. Not because I went up there planning on telling shit stories. They took me by surprise, too. It took me by surprise when they let me tell the second one. Why you giggling, Lee?
Lulu Plus.
Hulu.
Gratis.
Hulu.
Gratis.
Hulu.
2 semanas.
Hulu. HULU+.com. You have money in your account?
Right, okay.
That you could get, or you could have money from in there, from selling, let's say you want to sell cookies. You can bake cookies and sell cookies at night for $1. or trade them with people for cigarettes, or if they bring burritos on Sundays or shit like that. It's really amazing. You really learn this complete different way of doing commerce. Everything's on the arm, and you know the rules. You can't shake me down because you know that I don't get my potato chips till Thursday. So if I come to you and I go, Lee, you got any chips? Yeah. They're going to cost you 2 bags, Joey. Good. You know on Thursday you're getting 2 bags of chips because you gave me 1 on Tuesday. So now you become a store.
That's so funny.
And Boulder County was number 1. People would go to Boulder and commit a misdemeanor. Wouldn't be able to pay the
Just
fine.
to try it out?
They would go to jail for the winter. Instead of paying rent, they would go to Boulder County Jail for the winter. They gave you cigarettes, 3 squares. You got to do exercise. You go to church.
Are there people who do that, like they jail hop?
They do that, brother.
Oh, no. Idiots.
Nah, listen, man. That's the mentality in there. The one that the thing that kills you the
Don't go to
most.
prison.
The thing that kills you the most when you get locked up is when you hear people talking about the places where they've been. And we've discussed this before, huh? Yeah, I've been to fucking this place. I partied with Lee Syatt's uncle. Yeah, man, we partied out till 4 in the morning. Party in prison. Hit me. God damn it. I think I lost my glasses.
Somebody here for anybody?
I think I lost my mediocre. I said, I think I lost my mediocre glasses. I got up early and went to right at the coffee shop this morning.
Oh, that sucks.
I looked in the car. I looked in the house. I looked everywhere, and I can't find them. What's this here?
Just don't say that.
All right, beautiful. Listen to me. I go to the airports. Sometimes I go the other night. I went to the comedy store, and my wife took the car because she had to go home. And I took a lift, and I got to tell you something. I did it online. Some kid helped me at the store because Lee wasn't around. I've been telling you this for weeks, people. On it. On it. On it. I've been hitting jiu-jitsu when I'm at home, sometimes 4 times a week. You think that's because I'm better than you? No. I still suck at jiu-jitsu, but every time I go, my wind is better, my recovery is better. Why? Shroom Tech Sport. That's why. Lee Syatt, I want to thank you for being the co-host of the year, cocksucker. Stay black. Do is you take the toenail and you get some toe jam and you mix it all together like a toe ball. And you sniff that fungi nail. Greetings, podcast villas. Uncle Joey here. It's Wednesday, October 4th. One of my best friends in life called me today and informed me that his grandma died. And to be honest with you guys, she's the closest thing I've ever had to a grandma. So when I woke up this morning, I saw the missed call. And you know when you look at a missed call and you look at what time it came in and you know it's not good. Because you know what time people usually call me. He calls me at 8:39. But for him to call me at 6:15, I knew it was her. And I remember I did I knew she was dead. They put her in an old folks home about 3 months ago, and they, she's 90 something, and she was kind of crazy, and that's what I loved about her. I love you guys, but I shouldn't be here doing a podcast with you. I should be in New York with George at his house. I knew George since my sophomore I knew George before my mother died. And he was from Cliffside Park, and I was from North Bergen, and we kept in touch on the phone. And then he started dating a girl I knew in North Bergen. He would give her a little stabbing from time to time, and I would communicate to him through her. And then I lost contact with him for like a year or two, and then we reconnected in '84. I got arrested in Bergen County. He bailed me out, and he told me I could stay with his parents, his mom and his grandma. They lived on Inwood Terrace, where Jim Norton and Jimmy Florentine used to live. And I stayed with them for 6 months the first time, and it slowed me down a little bit. They never made me feel bad about living there. I always worked. I always fixed my bed in the morning. I gave them money. I gave grandma money for bingo. That was my deal, to give her $40 for bingo once a week plus rent. She'd cook for me. It was a great relationship. They took care of me like one of their own.
There's something special about grandmas.
No, she was always tight, and just her sense of humor. And then I left in '85. I always kept in touch with him. As a matter of fact, George came out to Colorado in '87 lived with me till I got arrested for the kidnapping. He stayed with me for a little while. Came out for the court case for me to get sentenced. 91, when I got divorced and I was down and out, I went back and stayed with him. He was junked up. And Grandma, as bad as I was feeling in those days, that was the first time I was away from my daughter, and that was the first time I had been away from Boulder. And I'll tell you, being in North Bergen was great, and doing comedy for the first couple, that was my second year of comedy when I moved back with George in Jersey. I drove a limo, and I went back to New York, and I did comedy. I would go to do comedy at night. You never taken her there, right?
No.
Why would you? Why would you?
Why
would you? Why would you? Why would you?
You get mad at me for going to home.
I took the money I robbed, and I took George, Grandma, and me to Piccolissimo for lobster fra Diablo, and it was just magnetic. Listen, she would still bring that night up in 1993. Now she wouldn't bring it up because she didn't remember it. But she always told me that was one of the best nights I ever had. She got home from bingo, we got a tipsy, and then we took her for lobster at the Piccolissimo in Fort Lee, New Jersey. That memory, that night, I saw it vividly about us dancing in the living room and us giggling. And I would go outside and smoke pot, and I would come in and she'd go, look at you, eek, eek, because that's what she would call marijuana.
Eek, eek?
She'd always go, you outside, eek, eek. You don't see me out jumping up and down and gallivanting and being somebody I'm not.
Right.
You know? So, again, you know, Antoine, Chicken Hawk, had a bigger black following. And he had the kitchen.
So there's Chicken Hawk
and Graveyard.
Graveyard.
And Chicken Hawk.
Spencer Antoine.
Spencer Antoine is Chicken Hawk.
Gotcha.
Spencer Antoine is Chicken Hawk.
Gotcha.
And his two lieutenants were a skinny dude from Memphis and I forget the other guy. Oh, B from Buffalo. And this guy was 6'6", big, you know, not muscular. He didn't win no Mr. Olympia or nothing. But he would pick you up to the neck. And he was in there for somersault. And Chicken Hawk was in there for involuntary manslaughter. But it was really murder, too.
He just let it down.
And I became friends with him. You don't ask people what they're in jail for. But I became friends with him. He was my boss in the kitchen. I hung out with him a lot, man. I really liked him. Like, I'm trying to think back. By then, I had gotten on what was my so-called stage. At that time?
Right.
Yeah, I was already getting up on Thursday nights. And
during the movies and stuff.
During the movies, yelling and screaming. About 2 weeks ago, I was on the road, and I was thinking about the guy I used to pick on a lot. A couple weeks ago, I went to buy an iPro pad with my wife. What?
Just keep going. It's on iPad Pro. We got it. Just by the way, for very quickly, your wife called me last week about something, and we laughed for about 3 minutes about mirrors.
What mirrors?
The mirrors when you call the windows mirrors. But I don't want to distract from this story.
And there's this light-skinned sister. I mean, she's really light-skinned with 1,000 freckles on her. And I sat there with her, and I really got a great kick out of it. I gave her a great rating when Sprint hit me up. I always think about going in there saying hello, but I don't want to seem like a creepy uncle, so I just won't go in there. But I really fell in love with her because she was cool, but she reminded me of this dude in prison I was tight with. He was one of those orange black dudes.
What?
He was orange, but he had freckles. And he had freckles everywhere.
I don't think I've seen anyone like that.
Well, the basketball player from the Celtics. But you don't remember him. When I was a kid, I forget what his name is. They're those black dudes that got freckles. Well, this dude had a bunch of freckles, and he was like orange skin, black. And he had like orange, black hair. And he worked in the kitchen with us. Okay. And he would always be telling stories about he was a drug dealer.
Did he make a noise or something? Why did he call himself Chicken Hawk? Did he like...
I don't know. I never asked him. Chicken Hawk. He used to make me go into the black rooms and play domino with him in the prison. He was Antoine Spencer Antoine, a.k.a. Chicken Hawk from New Orleans. And he told us one day, when somebody's telling you a funny routine, like if you watch Bill Burr, you get submerged. We're in the kitchen one day, Lee, the way me and you sit here, like with Becky or somebody else, when they come in here, Nick the Tour, we're just sitting here talking. But there was like 5 of us. And then each of us would smuggle stuff from the bodega, and we'd make a big meal one day a week.
All the kitchen employees.
All the kitchen employees would go to the store every day, even if they had to borrow money from us. They'd go to the store every day, and then they'd bring back supplies. And on Friday, we'd make like a Puerto Rican gumbo, like real tiny shrimp with imitation crab meat. And then, he would make like Louisiana, the kid from New Orleans, Antoine, he would make that. And then we'd make saltine crackers with sardines.
Oof.
Oh, yeah, we'd be throwing. Listen, when I'm walking now, guys, listen, if you listen to the church, do me a favor. Keep that phone in your pocket. Do me a favor. Ain't nobody funny enough. There's nothing as important as your life.
Yeah.
Nothing as important in your life. You get to a street corner, you look straight ahead. It's just like when you were a kid. What they tell you? Left, right, left.
Mm-hmm. I still do that.
We're going back to kid stuff, man. How many bags did you say?
I think it was 30. I'll Google.
30 bags upstairs, inside and out. Not one camera caught that. 3 days. He got there on a Thursday. He went bananas on Sunday. So over 3 days, he carried 30 bags up and down, and nobody caught this. This looks suspicious. Come on, guys. We're not paying attention, man. And if we don't have the phone in our head, dumb, stupid, what's that binge watch we're going to do over the weekend? It's bad. And then as a logical American, you're like, well, wait a second. I just won't go out. Then what are you going to do? Live in Cambodia for the rest of your life? You gotta go out. You gotta stand for something. It's unimaginable thinking of being there. Close your eyes for a second and thinking of being at any outdoor concert. Anything. It could be anything. Ozzy Fest, any outdoor festival. Can you imagine this, guys? Like I told you guys earlier, you never dreamed 20 years ago that there was going to be medical marijuana, and someday you were going to walk into a store and talk to people. Well, now it's unimaginable that, people are getting shot out of a beautiful hotel in the Las Vegas window. So, what an Ice Cube is. I got a bag of mushrooms.
People are so generous.
Sure.
Stop being so generous, please.
And I keep forgetting to bring the mushrooms for you.
Thank you. I appreciate
I'm going
that.
to try to clean them for you.
Thank you.
And
that's all I ask.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something else for you.
Okay.
I'm going to bring nice chocolate, not THC chocolate. See, today I could have been a scumbag to you.
You could have.
They have cookies and cream. No. They have...
Please don't ruin cookies and cream for me. It's my favorite flavor.
No, listen to me. They have vanilla ice cream cake. Mm-hmm. 200 milligram THC bars. The only thing I didn't like about them is too big of a bar. It's a little too much chocolate.
Fair enough.
But they say it's like a French chocolate, very fine, very refined. So I may bring it for you. You're looking good, soldier. Look at you.
Trying, man.
You got the little spots tonight, but everything's working out.
Let's hope this new blood's good.
You sit there, you read the papers, you do a bunch of things, you do all this analytical stuff, and let's say you worked hard to have a winner, and what are you going to do? What good is having a winner is not having somebody reliable to put your bet in with. That's why I always tell people to go to mybookie.ag. You know why? You win, they pay, you collect, somebody suka la mink, and there you have it. That makes wagering on the go. Bam! You got a sudden urge to win a yardstick or two? Go to mybookie.ag. Beautiful. Here you go. You ready to rock? Listen to me. It's that time of the year. The holidays are coming. You want to be nice. Halloween, right? Then you have the little pilgrim. Then you got a little what's a Jewish holiday over December? Hanukkah. Then you got Christmas.
It's a wonderful time.
Then you got New Year's. You want to be sharp from head to toe. You want to feel good, right? You want to look good in your underwear, and you want to be comfortable, right? You don't want no drama. You don't want something tight. You got to pull it out when you're sitting there trying to enjoy your lasagna for when you want to feel naked, but not be naked. Ladies will love the soft, eco-friendly fabric so soft. Untouchable. Don't be sending underwear back with skid marks, because I got down 911. That's soft assault in some states. So no, listen, I'm telling you right now, you want to look sharp, don't keep me, what are you waiting for? Have a great weekend, and let me tell you something. Hit it, Lee. Get up, it's all over. Listen, we had a rough couple of months. Katrina's cousin Maria, the other one, Puerto Rico, Houston, Florida. Listen, it's been tough up to now. The earthquake in Mexico, the White House, but it don't matter. They want to shoot. It's time for us to. We're going to North Korea in like a year. It's going to be an island. It's going to glow in the dark. You know why? Because we're Americans. Stop with the Russians on Facebook. Worry about yourself. Keep your eyes open. And get off Snapchat and Twitter. Stay black.